Hey guys, it's Casey from Sovereign Practicality Homestead. I'm not on the homestead today. I am relaxing, but this gave me a moment to think and talk about, things that I've seen on like trending and just fads that I've seen that are just really not sustainable. And I see a lot of people just jumping on the bandwagon, and really they should do their research first, and they should really make educated decisions for their homestead and what's best and what's actually sustainable. So the first thing that I see, especially in cattle, dairy cattle, especially dairy cattle, probably more so rather than beef, but I see it in beef as well, but that would be grain-free homesteads. If you have an animal that can sustain their body condition at least a 2 or 3, I think that that's a great thing. Without grain, I think that you should breed more of those animals. They would be a good candidate to keep on the homestead. That's obviously very sustainable. If you're looking for something that maybe demands a little less feed, or can be more efficient on grass, my suggestion would be having a dairy beef cross or having a dual purpose cow. That's one thing that I specialize in, is the dual purpose dexters. So they stay fat. I have one that stays fat on literally just grass. Like, I have to dry lot her for a month before she calves because she's so fat all the time on just grass. Over conditioning is a problem too, but I'll get to that in a different video. There's a lot more dual purpose breeds than what I'm about to list, but the most common that I see are shorthorns, brown Swiss, Normand. Really those are the top 3 probably that I see that are the most popular. I don't know a whole bunch about those breeds, although I think the shorthorn is super cute, but they are a lot bigger than the cows that I have. I think that if you have the space for that big of an animal, especially the brown Swiss are huge. And there's actually a dairy not too far from here that is a brown Swiss dairy. They're super tall, maybe not as big as Holsteins, but they are very big. And if you, like I said, if you have the space to feed these large animals, then I definitely encourage you to explore it. But as for me and my homestead, I'm sticking to the smaller guys, because it's usually just me handling them. So, I obviously am a small person and cannot handle these gigantic animals, especially since I'm working them myself. I guess another point for the Dexters, in my opinion. I think that, you guys should do your research thoroughly. You should honestly not only research, but you should work with a mentor, somebody that has the cattle breed that you want, like maybe for at least a year, just so that way you can see how that breed in particular that you're looking at handles all 4 of the seasons in your area. When it comes to dairy cows, when you want to put weight on them, you want to add carbs to their diet. There are plenty of non-GMO organic options out there, but I don't think that your cow should suffer for your ideals. That's very cruel, and they have literally no choice in what you feed them, how you feed them, or how much you feed them. So I think that you should make the ethical decision of whether you're going to feed grain or not, and instead of forcing a cow into your little box of ideas, find a cow that will fit in that box, because there are a bunch of cows and you will find your unicorn. You just have to do your research, and you have to look, you might have to travel, you might have to travel to find that cow, But you do not force an animal to fit into your little box.